Hello there, CriterioNate here. Before we get started, just want to let you know we're not going to have a rant today. Or at least on this review, because it's still the same day. Anyway, number three, technically number 344, but number 2 in the Eric Rohmer's 6 Moral Tales, Suzanne's Career. 1963, 55 minutes, black line, Alright, so, this one was, I think, a little bit, again, this was, I guess, technically another short, even though, 55 minutes, here's the thing. At one point at least in the U.S., there were a lot of movies that were considered 55, there were a lot of movies that came out that were considered short. Like, look at, nowadays you couldn't put out a 55-minute movie and, expect people to, enjoy it. You have to give them, that's like a TV movie, it's like 55 minutes or something like that. But, back in the 30s, a 55 minutes could be a movie. There were a lot of long movies, too. Think about The Birth of a Nation, which was like over 2.5 hours long or something like that. Almost 3 hours long, And that was when the 1915 or so, 1920. I don't remember when that was made, but yeah. So why this was still considered a short? Maybe in France, 55 minutes was considered a short. But, in the U.S., 55 minutes would be a movie. I'm thinking specifically about Laurel and Hardy. They released a lot of, they did shorts, but then they also did a lot of three-reelers and four-reelers and four-reelers and all that. Their films were 61 minutes. It was considered a full-length movie, And think about The Most Dangerous Game, one of our earliest Criterions, which is only about 60 minutes long, and that's considered a movie too, So, I don't know. Just thinking about that as I saw that apparently it was still considered a short, But anyway, but enough about the criticism of the thing, the length, because technically I've ranted enough today. The plot. So we got 4 main characters. There's Bertrand, Guillaume, Suzanne, and Sophia. The 4 of them, Bertrand and Guillaume, are friends who are in college together, and Guillaume meets Suzanne at a cafe and takes her out, wines her, dines her, and all that stuff. And they end up, and Bertrand kind of knows Guillaume to be a ladies' man of sort. And he knows that feels like he's kind of just using Suzanne, even though Suzanne's, more or less enjoying it. It doesn't seem to be, disliking him too much. But she starts to, and he ends up falling for her friend Sophia. Bertrand does. And yeah, even though Sophia doesn't seem to have any kind of, interest in Bertrand outside of just being friends. But yeah, eventually Suzanne ends up flirting with Bertrand, but she ends up flirting with almost everybody, And yeah, at one point toward the end, Suzanne and I think they end up bankrupting her, they take her out all the time and make her spend all the money, and she ends up starting to needing to borrow money from everyone, and he ends up, and Bertrand, offers to, at one point, Bertrand offers to let her stay at his apartment in a chair while he's sleeping in the bed, and, she ends up taking him up on that. When he wakes up, he finds out that he's lost some money that he hid in a book, and he believes it to be Suzanne, although earlier, I think in the end it was Guillaume, because you see Guillaume noticing that, because we see Bertrand hiding the money in the book, and I think Guillaume notices him looking, and as Bertrand's in the other room, Guillaume looks through all the books and all that, and at one point he seems to look a little further into the bookshelf, but we don't see that, and then we see him kind of straightening stuff up, And so I think in the end, Yame did take the money, and we don't really see him after that. I think that's the last bit time we see him. But yeah, so anyway, what happens is, but Bertrand still believes it to be Suzanne because he didn't take all of the money. He thought it was very clumsy. He thought it was more like Suzanne's style to leave some of the money behind. And I think some of that is because, and some of the reason why she needs the money is because she quits her job at some point. She had a full-time job and she ends up quitting it. And so he ends up getting in touch with Sophia, Bertrand does, and she really wants to believe that it's Guillaume, just because, and but he still wants to keep believing that it's Suzanne. However, she kind of drops a bombshell on him when Sophia tells Bertrand that Suzanne is getting married, and to a guy named Frank. I forget his last name. They end up meeting them, and they all go out to the beach together. And this is the part where the moral comes into play, and I'm still not sure exactly how it works very well. I still really enjoyed it, even though I didn't really understand the moral, but I still enjoyed it. It was just a little tricky. It seemed like I guess in the end Bertrand realizes that because Suzanne I guess was happy with Frank and all that, she ended up becoming like the victor because of the way that they treated her, and just the way that they were treating, the way they thought about everyone and all that. And I don't know. It just seemed a little rushed at the end. And so he, I guess, because he kept offering her, he wanted to offer her money and all that, but in the end, she refused, and all that. Well, at one point, he offers, if she can wait or something like that, I think at one point. But anyway, so in the end, he just kind of feels bad for pitying her. He kind of just feels like, why did I do this? It's like, maybe I was wrong all this time or something like that. It's a little confusing at the end. But I should have brought the book. I should have brought the book in and read the last sentence or so, paragraph or so, because I reread it after I watched the film, that whole last section of the book, and it's nice to have like a second look at the film, I guess, without having to watch it, So that was cool. But yeah, no, again, it's I like this one. I did like this one a lot. In fact, I liked it just a little bit more than Banquet Girl Monceau. Because of that, I'm giving it an A. Suzanne's career is. I just think the story was a little more interesting. I like the characters. I like the idea of just the college, aspect of it all, and everybody going out to parties, and the actress who played Sophia, what was her name? Let me look on page. Sophie. Sorry, I kept calling her Sophia. It's Sophie. Diane Wilkinson. She was really attractive too. I don't blame Bertrand for having a crush on her. Anyway. Suzanne's Career A. Gotta rewatch this one again because I did like this one. But I don't know. And this is, I don't know. Of course, we've still got 4 more. So right now, this is my favorite. But again, 4 more. Between the 2. Who knows what the rest will provide us with. So. So anyway, there's just only one supplement. Just a short film called Nausea in Paris that he did. Rohmer did in '64. And it's just basically sort of a female version of the 6 Moral Tales, in that a woman just kind of wanders through Paris and narrates. She goes to art museums and flirts with guys and puts her feet in water, and kind of weird. Runs about 13 minutes. There you are. But Suzanne's Career is still fantastic. So give it an A. 2 down, 4 to go. Alright, so that's it for today, and that's it for me. Thank you for watching. don't steal money from your friends, and don't be so quick to pity those who should not be pitied. I don't know. That's the best I can do. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for My Night at Maud's. And until then, goodbye.